What is up, people? Welcome to this We Are Tottenham TV post-match fan show after what I can only describe as gut-wrenching, in a good way, soul-ravaging.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I could just go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wake me up when it's over, yeah?
Yeah, I will. So Nick's going to have a little kip. While we just sort of get the fans on. Recap, Nick, if you can, on that madness of a game.
Two great goals from Bournemouth's point of view. Kiefer Moore. The first one, counter-attack. Second one, bullet header. Excellent. After that, obviously, substitutions for Spurs at 1.5 time, couple 15 minutes in. And then at the end, and it was all Spurs that second half. Like we said before, 19 shots, 69% possession. 19 corners, 69% possession, and 23 shots or something. Ridiculous. It's just like we've said before. It's a shame we can't start games like that and then bring players off and rest them.
Spurs were dead in a ditch.
Yeah, I mean, we were when it went to 2-0 and I kind of walked out. I was just like, I don't know whether I want to come back and watch the rest of this. Big up to everyone watching on the watch along.
It was a bit of a record breaker. It was
a record break. 2,400 likes. So big up to everyone there. That was absolutely insane. Nearly 4,000 people watching at one point as well. So yeah, it was incredible that we kind of finished October in that kind of fashion.
Yeah,
I've pretty much done every watch long bar, a couple.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted now.
We should change it to WeAreTottenhamTV.
No.
For October.
Just for October, yeah. For Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's Halloween on Monday, and we kind of put in a kind of horror show performance. But luckily in the end, it was a treat rather than a trick.
Well, it was two performances, wasn't it? It was that first section, that sort of first 2/3 of the game, and then the second, the last third of the game was something completely different. It was everything that we wanted Spurs to do, they started actually doing. And it's that point that you say about, well, why can't they do it? Why can't they do it right
because
from the
it
off?
wouldn't be Tottenham Hotspur, would it?
Yes,
they wouldn't put us through this route, this mill. They wouldn't put our heart rates, our health, our sanity, everything at stake. If it was if it was just like Newcastle winning 4-0, I mean, we'd just be like, okay, cool.
Yes, true.
It wouldn't be. Look, it's never boring being a Tottenham Hotspur supporter. Let's just put it that way.
Well, not according to some. According to some, it's incredibly boring.
Exactly. But no, first of all, before we get to the cause, big up to Sander Milligan. Welcome to Silver. Big up everyone in the chat who's joined us. There's nearly 400 of you watching.
Amazeballs.
So big up to all of you. Again, hit that like button. I don't think we'll hit 2,500 likes, but you never know.
That might be a bridge too far.
It might be a bridge too far. But look, there's plenty of people in the back room. Let's get them on.
Let me adjust my chair because again I'm down here again. There we go. Right.
You're down there.
Yeah, the seat just doesn't like me.
I'm going to unplug. I'm all tangled as well. Look, with these wires. There we go. It's because he's ripped them out earlier. Right.
Hold on, mate. Hold on, mate. I'm a bit busy here, all right? I'm just trying to sort this out.
Let's get the first caller on. Who are we going to guess? We'll go to caller bingo in the chat. Who do you think is going to be first?
Caller number 1, please. I don't know. I'm going to say it's Hassan.
That's because it is Hassan.
I know it's Hassan. That's why I said it was Hassan.
Oh, okay, cool.
What's up, Hassan?
Just calming down over that 90 minutes.
Right, so a game of two halves, right? A game of not even two halves, a game of two sections, right? Really almost like two completely different games, right? So we're going to split it. Tell us about the first section of the game and then tell us about the second.
I think that first half, it showed a lot of things. It showed that outside the first 11, there's not much. It showed that I think Emerson Royale has something on Conte, some pictures or some old documents, because how he gets to play every second week is a crime.
A crime.
Sanchez is just an awful player, full stop. And yeah, we just seemed, how every first half has gone, just there for the ride. Just hoping that Kane and Son will try and do something, and then we'll move along. And it didn't work. Our backline got targeted heavily, and we conceded 2 goals. And at that point, I really thought we'd lose that game, and I wouldn't have been surprised if we did. But that last third, the second section came in, and we were able to draw it back a little bit.
And what was on show in that second part that was missing in that first part? What was I mean, not necessarily in terms of personnel, but because obviously we'll talk about him and his impact in a moment. But outside of that sort of substitution of Bentancur, what changed about the way that Spurs were playing that made the difference?
We just seemed more intent on moving the ball forward. I mean, that's all I can put it down to. I mean, do you put that on Conte? Do you put that on the players? Because we didn't really change anything. Sure, Lucas Moura came on, but he didn't really do anything when he did. So it's not like we changed any personnel of major impact. We still had Longway playing in the centre. We still had Sessegnon and Emerson. So what changed? I don't know. Did Conte tell them to push further up? Did the players realize that, oh, wait a second, we're losing a Premier League game? We just seemed more intent in moving the ball forward, trying different things, risking a little bit. And it sucks that every time we've done that, we've had to go down a goal. It happened at Sporting just a few days ago when we had Newcastle. It happened when we were 2-0 down, although that time we weren't able to get it up. And it's happened again today. And it puts a really bad precedent moving into Marseille when Conte won't be there to get them going again. He won't be there to change their stuff. He won't be able to talk to them at all. So hopefully the players decide to play like that in the first half, because the second halves against Newcastle, Sporting and Bournemouth have been somewhat enjoyable, somewhat watchable. I'm thinking, okay, we got corners after corners. We were taking shots. There were chances. There were saves by the goalie. Why can't we do that from goal number 1? Why do we have to let the team go in front of us? And
well, that's the key question. That's the key question. This to me suggests that it's not a tactical issue. This is not a personnel issue necessarily, because it's not just, I mean, I say we'll talk about Bentancur in a second. It's not just Bentancur's presence where we've seen that sort of change. We've seen them with Bentancur in the side just start as if there's a Sunday league game going on. Is this just a fundamental issue within Spurs, that we just have this weakness of mindset, that they don't step onto the pitch wanting to turn that into a war zone?
I don't know, because I was watching the players today and I kept a real close eye on them to see how we go against Bournemouth. I thought we'd be quite defensive, considering we had 8 defensive-minded players on the pitch.
Sorry, can you just define for me defensive-minded player? Because I've heard this a lot, and it doesn't seem to really fit with what I've seen. I mean, look, ultimately the positions you play, we had 3 central defenders, 2 defensive midfielders, but your wing backs are attacking players. So where are these 8 defensive players coming from?
Okay, so obviously you mentioned the 3 at the back. The three central mids in the middle, they aren't attacking minded. They can attack, but they're not attacking minded primarily. And the wing backs are meant to be attacking options, but in the case of Sessegnon and Emerson, they aren't. And that's where I come to 8 defensively minded players. The positions they're meant to be playing don't like, you should have attacking wing backs. Those 2 players should be attacking-minded players. But I just don't
Yeah,
think
but
those two.
can you again? I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure on you here, Hassan, because again, it's
Yeah,
something
go
that's
for it.
easy to say, but it's very difficult to quantify. Can you actually quantify for me precisely what a defensive-minded player actually is? Because the one thing that we as a fan base seem to be ripping ourselves apart over is this idea that we're playing defensive. It's like, yes, but that's the philosophy set by the manager. It's not necessarily part of the players. If a player, if you turned around to Emerson and said, right, I want you to stay above the halfway line, he can be defensive minded as he likes, but he's going to stay there if he follows his manager's instructions. So is this a case of that we're trying to find these things that don't actually exist?
Maybe, but I just think, like you said just there, if you ask Emerson to stay at the halfway line, positionally he'll be in that attacking formation or attacking position. But in his mind, will he then go, okay, let me attack, let me be my
that's the
man, cross the
question.
ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where I say defensive-minded players, not defensive positions, defensive-minded players. I don't think Emerson has that attacking input in his brain where he can go, okay, what do I do in this scenario? Majority of what he does is pass inwards or pass backwards, and that's nothing against him. He doesn't have that attacking mindset. If you switch over to someone like Perisic, who was a winger in the past, yeah, Perisic hasn't been great, but he does make those decisions a bit better in those attacking places, and that's where you have an attacking-minded person because he's used to those positions. So I think that's what I meant when I said we had 8 defensively-minded players. Their first instinct isn't to attack, but you don't see Højbjerg as the creative midfielder or Bentancur, even though how good he's been. Basuma, Sessegnon, Emerson, and the back three. They're not. The first instinct isn't, okay, I've got the ball, let me progress it forward and attack. Their first is defensively minded, pass inwards, keep the ball. That sort of rotational aspect. So that's why I come with the 8 defensively minded players, barring Kane and Son.
So, okay, let's say, for instance, okay, so we have these 8 defensively minded players, but the players that we sort of replaced them with were not particularly attack minded themselves. They're all of the same, they're all of the same stripe as well. So, I mean, again, what is different? Why can we not step onto the pitch and play the way we play after we've gone a goal down?
Yeah. Well, there's a difference for me between attacking minded and attacking output, right? I think Lucas Moura and Bryan Hill are attacking minded players. They want to attack, they want to move the ball forward. But the attacking output that they produce, whether it's the final ball or the cross, I don't think is of a proper quality. Jed Spence and Ivan Perisic, they are attacking minded players. Right, Jed Spence is an attacking fullback.
I get that, but Jed Spence, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep everyone jizzing over Jed Spence coming in. We've not seen anything of Jed Spence.
Yeah, we won't go. I'm just saying as a.
But I agree with you with Perisic because actually Perisic going forward has been better than he has been in defence. 100%.
I'm just saying Jed Spence as a profile, not from what we've seen, but as a profile. And with regards to the second part where it was, why can't we play in that same intensity? I don't have the answer for that, unfortunately, because
one does.
No, speculation. We're wondering what you think it might be.
For me, I just think that when the players step on the pitch, the way we set up, and I'm not blaming Conte for this. We seem to press for a few minutes, and then we seem to just relax. We seem to be, happy to sit in that shape, and maybe that's a little bit down to Conte's tactics, but I see Højbjerg saying up, press, move forward. He's telling Ryan Sessegnon and Emerson Royal to push up. He's telling Kane and Son to mark their man. So clearly, Conte's told them, stay in that shape, but you can press as a unit. You don't have to pull yourself out of position, press as a unit.
Yeah,
and I just think the players haven't understood that.
Yeah, and I think, Hassan, you're right, because that first goal, when you look at it, Cess, Davis, they were too far up. They were kind of nowhere.
Yeah.
That allowed obviously Bournemouth from Tavernier to attack down that right hand side, and then obviously Emerson didn't see the danger, and he was like over the halfway line by the time that was coming up, and then. And then obviously we saw what happened with Sanchez just slipping because he didn't know where to go. He didn't mark Kiefer Moore, and he just slipped and did whatever he did. But yes, I guess you're right. That some of them get it, some of them don't. We know which ones don't because they were the ones that were kind of, until, like we said, until Dyer came on the pitch, Longley looked a little bit like kind of rabbit in the headlights. He wasn't sure what to do. He didn't command that defence like Dyer normally does. And we all agree that Dyer isn't. We need to upgrade on Dyer, but he came in and he solidified that defence.
Yeah, and this is the problem. I think. Yeah.
Speaking of the thing, what do you? I'd like to get your opinion on this as well. In terms of that whole, they don't seem to want to play until something happens. So the BBC was interviewing Ryan Sessegnon afterwards.
Right.
And he was talking about, I don't know if you noticed, but Perisic was basically being prepared to be brought on just before Sessegnon scored his goal. He turns around and he says, I had a little feeling as I looked over and saw him getting ready to come on, but it is just one of them things that I had to make sure to leave my mark just before, and thankfully I stayed on for a little bit longer. Doesn't that sum it up a little bit, that he's sitting there only when he's looking at being substituted that he thinks about leaving his mark? I mean, why doesn't he want to leave his mark right from the first whistle?
Yeah, I think that's an underlying issue we're facing with the lack of squad depth in our team, right? You look at, and again, I'm not pointing out single players, but the likes of Emerson Royale and Matt Doherty, right? They can have stinky performances, but because Conte doesn't trust Jed Spence, or he's not good enough, or we don't have a proper right wing back, those two will get rotated no matter what, because that's all the options we have. Sonny at the moment doesn't look like at all what he was last season, whether it's a new role or he's just tired, but we can't do anything because Richarlison and Kulusevski are injured. So with going back to the point of Sessegnon, I just think some of the players are too relaxed. I just think they don't, like for Sessegnon, Perisic will play the game against Marseille, and I expect Sessegnon to play the next league game, right? Whether he had a good performance today or not, that's how it's going to be, because those are the only two left wing backs we have. So you don't really have to have a good performance to keep your spot. You can have bad performances and remain in that starting lineup. And I think that's crept into some of their psyches or their psychological senses. And just like you mentioned there, until he got pressurized, until he was like, you know what, I might not play anymore. And then that's when he started to do something.
Yeah. Is that, I mean...
I think that's the issue.
Is that acceptable for any professional player, really? I mean...
No.
Is that one of the root causes of the problem at Spurs, in that we have players who seem to think that they have the right to actually think that about themselves?
Yeah, I think, and that's why we're seeing these performances. I think they go in thinking, you know what, we can go about our way, nick a goal here and there, and we'll be fine. You know, we'll rotate next game. I'll get in the next game after. But the moment we're under the pressure, like, oh God, we're playing badly, maybe the manager won't think I'm this good, I got to actually put in a bit more effort, and it shows. You know, you can't have the same players on two different halves and have them play two different ways, right? And that's where I don't put any blame on Conte, because he picks the same 11 for both halves, and they play two different halves, and they play two different ways in intensity. So you can't blame Conte. It's the player's mindset or the player's attitude. And that has to fix, because we won't get this lucky, right? It could have been a very different game, and Bournemouth could be half decent at defending set pieces, and we could be talking about a 2-1 loss or a 2-0 loss.
Well, they could have. I mean, with the pressure that they showed, they could have been 4-0 up at halftime.
Exactly, right?
But they weren't, and we won.
I know.
So let's be happy.
I am happy.
Okay, cool.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
Look, I'm happy. I'm over the moon.
Listen.
It's okay.
It's fine. Let's be happy.
He's happy. It's all right.
Let's be happy.
It's fine.
Look,
It's okay.
I'm over the moon at the 3 points, right? I'm not some idiot to be like, for 3 points. Obviously, but I'm just trying to be realistic here that Bournemouth, a team that's come up from the Championship, who are most likely going to be relegated, we made it tough for ourselves. And do we really should we have gone into this game? I saw several fan channels, myself included, speaking about this game and saying, you know what, it's going to be tough. It might be a 2-1 win. It might be
absolutely.
a scratchy win. And should that be the preview for a game against Bournemouth, right? We should be saying, 4-0, 5-0, 3-0. So look, we have to fix up because we're not going to get away with it so many times. Somehow we've done it, and somehow people will say we're third, people will say we're top of the Champions League group, but it only takes a few games for that to change very quickly. Only takes a few games for that to go the complete opposite side, just how it could have gone the complete opposite side today, right? If we hadn't won, a lot of people on Twitter would be Conte out, players aren't good enough, Levy out, yada yada yada. But instead, we got the win, and it's back Conte, da da da. So they're playing a fine line at the moment.
Speaking of backing Conte, how critical is this transfer window now? I mean, there were rumours that Kane had a stomach problem before the game, so that would have left us with Son and Moura up front. I mean, how important is it for Spurs to really turn around and say, look, it's now or never? More than the summer, or
we said the same thing in the summer. We said the same thing in the summer. We said it's now or never in the summer, right? We got Champions League football,
and it was never.
We had Conte, and a lot of the signings haven't done anything, right? Some of them aren't even playing enough. So yeah, January is going to be important. Whether important players come in, that's a whole different question. Based on past anecdotes and past experiences, you tend to say no. Can we replicate a miracle of last January? I hope so, because by God, have those two been important. And before I leave and before I let the other calls come on, I think we have to touch on Mr. Rodrigo.
That was going to be the next question.
To talk whatever you want to call him.
Yeah,
let's finish on a positive.
Some of his positives. He came on and
he's the reason we're playing on Wednesday season. Sorry.
As you can tell, Nick is on a bit of a high.
Yeah, I can't blame him.
But Bentancur, I mean, he changed the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he just. When he first came in, people loved his ability to be smooth on the ball, press resistant, right? He had nice little tricks. But I think this season, you add that, but he looks more progressive in the way he plays. He looks to try and create stuff now. And that might be the additional role that Conte's given him to be that more creative-minded midfielder. And sure, that's great. But you just fall in love with the guy, really. I mean, I'm starting to love him more and more. He's running through brick walls every single game. He has no fear of getting into tackles or getting injured. He's now contributing with goals. That's back-to-back games he scored, and important goals, right? Very important goals as well. The winner in this case and the one that drew against Sporting. And he's just seems like a nice guy. So, look, he's been phenomenal, and I hope that we can keep him nice and safe. Hopefully nothing happens in the World Cup. Touch wood.
One final question in that case. One final question in that case: is he now your man crush?
He's my man crush.
I know he's your man crush.
He's Jacob's man crush.
He's not quite my man crush, but that's only because I still haven't got over Jan Vertonghen. But is Roddy your man crush now, Hassan?
I mean, in the current way, I think you have to put him there. I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy either, I might add, but
it's true.
Big up.
All facets, he's got it. So,
he ticks all the boxes for you.
He ticks all the boxes for Hassan. Good.
Fantastic.
Right, big up Hassan. Thank you for the call. We've got loads of people in the chat.
Have we?
And the back room, even not in the chat. In the chat, we got loads of people.
Loads of people in the chat.
I'm just kind of lost of where I am.
Yeah.
Jacob, I'm going to give you a Bentancur for you. There you go. Just for you, Jacob.
That's Hassan. For Jacob.
Jacob,
I see.
Yeah,
I
he's
understand.
getting
Is
moist.
he in the chat?
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Is he getting a bit more?
I think you need to do one as well, Raz.
I'll do one, but I'll do one over after Hassan has done one. Hassan, can you do us a Bentancur, the way that Jacob from United Spurs of America does?
Wait.
So you just got to roll the R at the end.
Yeah. So a bit of a Bentancur.
Oh, okay, good. We're gonna get everyone to do that now, just for Jacob. Now,
Yeah, we're gonna do a competition to see who can do the best Bentancur. Fantastic. Brilliant, Hassan. That was really good to hear from you, mate. Thank you very much, Hassan. Take care.
Come on, you got to do one now.
Do I have to do one now? Or do I have
now.
Do I have to do one after every single one?
No, just now.
Just now. Okay, so Rodrigo Bentancur.
There you go.
How's that?
There you go.
Is that good?
Big up.
Does that work?
Big up. And there's a super chat from United Spurs of America. Thank you both for the Bentancur shout.
Bentancur.
Okay. Here we go. Right. The next guy, he's normally, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see his reaction because the other day he was screaming when that goal went in.
Yep.
And it's Dan, THFC.
Ah, the man with the nan.
And the grandpa.
And the grandpa. Yes. Big up, Dan. What's up? How's it going? How you feeling?
Yeah, I was there waiting like for 5 minutes, staring at the screen, waiting for a VAR camera to come up.
that little chill did go up my spine, actually, thinking, oh my God, are they going to VAR this? But,
and all the Bournemouth players froze as well, so I was like, something's going on here. VAR's going to intervene.
This is it, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so game of 2 bits. It wasn't a half because at the beginning of the half, we still weren't doing very well. So game of 2 bits. First bit impressions, second bit impressions, go for it.
Well, that first half was absolutely atrocious. I don't know what it is, but I don't know why we have to wait to the 55th minute to play football. It's a mentality problem. It is a mentality problem because there's no way that it could be. Obviously, they're average. The players are bang average, but at the same time, there's no way that. If you don't know, get to know.
Lord have mercy.
But there's no way that players can be so bad for the first 55th minute and then somehow become very good for the last part of the game. That's impossible. It's a mentality problem. I don't know what it is, but I would like to say that we're giving the other teams a head start, but no, it's poor, man. I don't know. Like, the back line is so incompetent. I said it before, and I said again. Eric Dyer, when he came on, that guy, when the ball's on his feet, that guy's decision-making of a teaspoon. And Emerson Royale, the whole back line, when we don't have Romero in there, it's just poor, man. It's poor.
Well,
but
I asked the question of you, Nick, and I'll ask the question of you, Dan. Were it to be possible, should that essentially be the end of Davinson Sanchez at Spurs? If we could, obviously we can't. We're still
put him down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yes, we're going to eliminate him. No, in terms of, let's say for instance we had a transfer window. Should that really be the end of Davinson Sanchez? Because as far as I could see, that performance was awful, absolutely awful.
That guy's reached his expiration date years ago. It's like when you have expired milk and you leave it in the fridge for 3 years.
Yeah.
Get rid of the milk. Get rid of the milk and get new milk. It's not that difficult. It's expired. The guy should have been gone a long time ago. But you know what infuriates me the most? The fact that the fans can put up with these players for so long, but then when we get a world-class manager in the team, we get on a losing streak of 3 games, they want the manager out. That just shows you the mentality of this fan base.
Yeah, there's certainly a point there, absolutely. Obviously, it was still a positive outcome. I'm not going to necessarily say it was positive or negative in terms of the game, but it was a positive outcome. And as we've discussed, it seemed to centre around a certain Uruguayan coming on. What did you make of him? Bentancur.
Dan's done it now as well. Yeah, big up, Dan.
We were gonna get him to do it anyway. Yeah, we'll get him to do it again one more time at the end as well. So yeah, but Rodrigo, a lot of people have been sort of praising Højbjerg rightly in my view this season, and Bentancur as well. And he showed it today, didn't he? That he's got that little cut above what we might have had, or certainly when it comes to, you look at all of those central midfielders, that maybe that Bentancur is the one that has the ability to actually take the game by the scruff of the neck. What did you make of his performance?
I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and he's been very good all season. What worries me about Bentancur, what worried me, about Bentancur, was his decision making in the final third. But ever since he got that first goal with Tottenham, his decision making and his shooting, his confidence in front of goal has been a lot better. A lot better. Oh crap! Something
Dad,
that.
it's your dinner.
Go on, carry on.
No, but it was. Bentancur is very, very good. But you know something that I've noticed when we signed Bissouma, the whole talk from the whole fan base was, all right, now who's going to be taken out of the midfield? Now it looks like both of them have been, Højbjerg and Bentancur have been performing so well that now everybody's just going, oh, well, Bissouma, he's going to be on the bench now. And now we're starting to go with formations with 3 in the middle to fit Bissouma in. And I think that Bissouma has been really poor. And this whole midfield have been stepped up as soon as we signed Bissouma. And I've been very, very happy to see Bentancur and Højbjerg doing so well. Bentancur, the day that he walked into the Tottenham team, he looked like he'd been at the club for a long time. Again, the only worry I had about him was his decision making in the final third, and that looked like it is improved. So I'm very, very happy with Bentancur.
Do we need more of him? Not him. Do we need to? And how critical now is the January transfer window?
Well, I mean, every transfer window is critical, but we never step up to the plate when it comes with the ownership and with the money put into the club. It seems like we always go in, oh, well, this is the final straw. If we don't do well in this one, it's over, and then we don't do anything. It happens every time. But what I would love to get another one of Bentancur because, you know, he's the reason. But I think that we definitely need to go out and not another one of his position, but we need a creative midfielder. We need a right wing back. We need another 2 more center backs would be ideal, and I would be happy with that transfer window. But all the players have to be quality. We don't need to go out there and get like 15 players, average players from Spain that you've never heard of in your life, and like get 15 in every position. No, you get quality players for every single position that you need, and that will fix the cracks in team. But yeah, if we do that in January, it will fix a lot of problems. But yeah, the January transfer window is going to be crucial.
We've seen him coming back as well. He's been getting more time on the pitch. How enthused are you by the return of Ollie Skip and starting this game as well, which many might not have necessarily seen that?
I thought in the beginning he was taking some chances. He had one good shot in the first half that I can remember that tested Bournemouth. But for the rest of the game, he looked a little bit non-existent. He didn't really do much for the rest of the game, and I was a little bit disappointed. I expect more from Skip, but I know that he's a quality midfielder because we've seen it, and I know he's going to be a good player in the future. I don't regret any of it. I've seen people on Twitter saying that they regret getting Skip on a longer contract. I don't know what going through their mind. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, Twitter's a weird place, you know. So
yes, I think we've learned that. And will probably get even weirder now that it's been purchased by a certain Mr. Musk. We seem to play throughout that game with like 8 different right wingers. What did you make of that? That everyone seemed to want to go out to that right wing. We saw Skip there, we saw Bentancur there, we saw Mora there, we sort of saw Emerson there, we saw Dyer there. What did you make of that?
We're starting to look like England with all the right backs. But I think that when Brian Hill did come on and started playing in the right wing, he made a massive difference to the game. Yeah. So I was really impressed by Brian Hill, and I don't know why we keep insisting to going down the right, since we got so much crap down the right-hand side in Emerson Royale. I think it would probably be better if we go down the left, to be completely honest with you. The one time we did, we scored, and to make it 2-1, sorry. So I think that we need to like go more down the. But I don't even know why we go down the wing so much. Why can't we just go direct?
Well, isn't that part of a Conte system?
I get that, but when you've got wing backs that are so shite, surely you gotta go. Well, Emerson Royale,
change your approach, though, isn't it?
We're gonna give him the ball, and he's gonna try and do a no-look pass, and he's gonna go out of bounds. So how about he goes straight to goal?
Yeah, he did a no-look interception that failed, didn't he, earlier as well? I think everything that Emerson Royale does is no-look.
I don't want to no-look him on the team sheet anymore.
Yes, that's the thing, exactly. We wish we didn't have to look at
Dan would have been pleased about one thing: Harry Kane wasn't on free kicks.
That's also true. Yes. How joyous are you over that?
I was very joyous, But then Son stepped up and did the exact same thing that Kane does.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes. I can't. That's not deniable. But like you, I've been wanting Kane to be off free kicks for a while. I'm just hoping that Sonny can get his eye in. I think that's everyone's hope.
Yeah,
Don't you?
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Son gets one free kick. I know he scored a lot for South Korea, but I want to see him score one for Tottenham.
That would be
But I
great.
also like to see Perisic take some too because he's pretty good at them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two. Anybody other than Kane.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Dan, one more
He
time.
can score from anywhere on the pitch.
One more
but
time,
except for
give
free
us
kicks.
your Benton impression, and then we'll let you go to that phone call, or your dinner, or your lunch, or whatever. Or go and see your nan, whoever was calling you.
Yeah.
Rodrigo Bentancur.
Lovely.
Big up, Dan.
Thanks very much, pal. Good to see
Big
you
up, Dan.
again.
Big up, pal, to TCG. How many crosses did Royal make? Hot cross
don't know.
buns? I don't know. Maybe.
I have no idea.
Don't know.
I wouldn't
Don't
even
know.
begin to guess. I
Don't
wouldn't
know.
even begin to guess.
This next person. So we went for a guess of who was the next person. So,
Right. Oh, was it a little sweepstake? I've still got Ryan Sessegnon's comment on, so I've not been.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
you got
I've
Ryan
also-
Sessegnon's
Yeah.
chat. So this person is soon to be with us on these shores.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant they were recently to be born, soon to be with us.
No, not
Right.
no, you're gonna be on these shores just in time for Panto season.
Oh no, he isn't.
Oh yes, he is.
Ah,
It's
it
Brian
must be
Dago.
Dago.
What
Big
a
up,
what a
Brian.
I'm loving these introductions. I'm loving these introductions. And fair play. What a Tottenham Hotspur doing things the hard way since 1882. My God, what a roller
Is it
coaster!
since
All I can
1882? Is it really since 1882, or is there a different year that you had in mind for that difficulty to
do
begin?
you know what? Do you know what? I'm trying, and I'm seriously trying. I'm not going down that path today. I'm not
Okay,
doing that.
okay.
But what I do want to say
Yep.
is thank you, Tottenham Hotspur, and thank you, Rodrigo Bentancur, because Monday is my wife's birthday, and we're doing stuff today and tomorrow, and I was in a foul mood at half
I'll
time.
bet you
I was
were.
like, whatever you had planned, forget it. Forget today. I'm going to bed, turning my phone off, come nowhere near me. But thankfully, to Rodrigo Bentancur and Tottenham Hotspur,
Sorry, who?
it's all champagne, skittles, and
So
rainbow.
you didn't
Rodrigo.
say his-
Oh, I can do it. See, I've been waiting for you to do this because this is
Yeah.
where being Jewish and reading Hebrew is very, very good for this very moment.
There you go.
Rodrigo Bentancur.
Oh, that was an extended.
Okay,
one.
I
That's
mean,
the extended
actually,
version.
Brian, you say it's a good thing, but maybe your good wife might not be happy that you're in a good mood. She might be thinking, "Oh, he's in
Yeah,
a
she's
bad
not-
mood. I'll get time to myself." And
This
now
is
she's
it,
thinking,
yeah.
Yeah,
"Oh, I've
but
got to
probably-
spend time with him."
Yeah, bro, that's no. Do you know what? You've probably got a very, very good point. You've got a very good point there. She's like, "Come on, Bournemouth, come on." No, she's
Get
like,
another Bournemouth.
just thank God, thank God.
But it
that-
didn't
what-
happen. We pulled our asses out of the fire.
We did.
With a third, with 30 minutes, really. I mean, it was effectively just 30 minutes in which we played like a team that you would want to see us play like, right?
Yeah, I mean, what we've got to try and establish here is why can't we do anything in the first half? In the second half, or we're 1-0 down, or go 2-0 down. Okay, let's play. But in the first half, we just look. I put a tweet out saying I think we've signed Basuma's brother, as Jose once said. And I think that's what we're doing. We're coming out for the first half with 11 brothers, and then the second half, the real ones are coming out because it's night and day, isn't it?
It really is. And in this instance, I think it wasn't even the second half that we started off like that. It was only after Bentancur came on that we actually seemed to show a little bit of bite. I mean, where is the steel? Where is the steel that every football club, every team needs to have? Why do we have has it been sold? Have we sold it to raise money, do you think?
You're trying to get me to go there. I'm trying not to go there. I'm trying
Stop
my
trying to
hardest.
get him to go
I
there.
am
Genuinely
trying my
not. I'm
hardest.
genuinely not.
All I will say, and you know what? This will shock some people and please some people, because you do know I will give credit where credit's due. So people, listen up. For the club to pull off Bentancur and Kulusevski, well bloody done. Well bloody done. Because also, what the hell is wrong with Juventus? Look at the mess
True.
they're in,
Yeah.
and they let
Yeah,
these two go. Who the hell did
Absolutely.
they think they were to let these two go
Yeah.
to try and finance? Maybe it was Vlahovic, whoever it may be, but to get these deals, all right, Kulusevski hasn't signed, but what was it, 19 million? I will give credit, like I've always said, where credit is goddamn due.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the club take credit for that. The club have to take credit for that. But he is making a huge difference, isn't he? He is
I
making
think
a
so.
huge difference. This month he has been outstanding, Bentancur. Absolutely immense. But this defence needs open heart surgery and quick. I mean, we've got Royale, who's gone from the no-look pass to volleying it outside of Bournemouth, and it's probably sitting at Bournemouth Pier or something.
I think it's still in orbit.
Well, if we get the naming rights for Google, we can look for that and Harry Kane's penalty from Eintracht
Yes,
Frankfurt.
true, absolutely.
But that defence is a Sanchez, who I have tried to defend. I have tried to defend him in certain times.
Yeah.
Shocking,
Yeah.
absolutely shocking. And that
Are
defence
we
needs open heart surgery.
are we defending the indefensible by doing that? Is there any? I mean, look, again, I keep saying it. We can't do anything about him right now.
Nope.
But if we could, should that really be the end of Davinson Sanchez? If there was, say, for instance, a way in which we could replace him with a different player right now, should that be the end of him?
I've said this as well. If we only went out this window, and I'm being serious here, and we only went and bought, for example, Skriniar, if that's the only player we bought in, but we spend the 50 million, whatever it takes, wisely, I will come back and say happy window. Yes, we need a creative midfielder. Yes, we need, if Spence goes out on loan, a right wing back, but we need that commanding defender. We need that rock hard Terminator, like the Nemanja Vidic, that will just sort everything out, because this can't happen. And we can see we can create. Look how many corners we had. Southern Kane weren't at their best today, but we still had over 20 corners. God knows that we can attack.
Yeah.
But we can't defend at the moment. We got to remember that first half, we made Bournemouth look like Manchester City.
Well, that's just it, isn't it?
First half.
I mean, this defense is, and I get where you're coming from. You're essentially saying that we need an Iron Man, basically.
Yes, exactly. The exact phrase. Very good.
Yeah, Romero isn't that. Romero's your beast, okay? So he's the one that will be aggressive. He was the one that will think we need that Iron Man in the middle to basically be the rock that stops the last things, and so Romero can go off and be aggressive. And I actually think, I know a lot of people were critical of Longley today and against Sporting, but I think he's not been that bad. I think if we can keep Longley, get another sort of Iron Man in there, we've at least got 3 first-pick defenders that make up a solid back three. Right now, the back three doesn't look like even a Premier League standard one, to my mind. What do you make of it?
I'm exactly like I said to you. If we just went out and bought Skriniar rather than a bit part centre back, a bit part right back, and a bit part creative midfielder, just to say, I'd rather we go spend the money on the real deal, on one area, and we know this centre back is a key area now. We know that this needs fixing, and I'm just saying Morgan Skriniar because that's my personal preference of who I think could do the job. Obviously, people will think otherwise, but I think if we could get him in just to shore that defence up. And then you said, like you said, you got Romero who can be more Romero, let's say. Longley has his passing if he's first choice, and that if you say Romero, Skriniar, Longley, that sounds better than Romero, Dyer, Davies, or Dyer, Longley. I think it changes the defence. I think we can be more expressive, but like I said, that second half, the fight, the determination, again, like Chelsea. We show we've got that fight. We can do it, but why can't we do it for 90 minutes?
Absolutely, Brian. Again, Ryan Sessegnon was saying that when he knew he was to be substituted, he thought, I want to make my mark on this game. Are you concerned that a young player like that should be thinking in those terms and not thinking, I want to make my mark on the whole game right from the start?
So I say this a lot on these streams. I'm a fan of Sessegnon. I'm a fan of Sessegnon defensively. He's got a lot of work to do offensively, which is what he was doing at Fulham. And I think a lot of that is due to his hamstring injuries he's had. We all know how bad they can be, and if they keep going, it's quite a repetitive injury. And I think he's just lost a bit of confidence in himself to run to that byline and do what he does and open his legs and really go for it. I knew you were going to do that, Nick. I knew it as I said it.
It's a Saturday. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly. But what we see Sessegnon doing is cutting in and slowing it down. And I think with Perisic being there, and he's saying he's learning off Perisic, it's not going to happen overnight. There's a lot of people that think he's useless and that think we got to get rid of him. I think there's a player there, but it's going to take a lot of work, and he needs class around him. Not what we're doing in this defence. We're all singing his praises when twice last season he marked Salah out of the game.
Yeah.
You can't just be that good and mark one of the best players in the Premier League out, and then just be shit. Offensively, I completely agree. He's got a lot of
Brian,
work.
exactly. And there's a super chat from Powder TCG exactly backs up. You can't have A+ football with B- players.
I think he has said that before in another show I was on, and it's exactly that. It's exactly that. And do you know what? We're saying that he doesn't get forward enough or he doesn't attack enough. Well, he scored a goal that brought us back into the game.
Yep.
So whether he said I wanted to make my impact here or in the impact, obviously, if you're about to get substituted and we're playing piss poor, and you get a chance at a shot, you're going to put your laces through it and smash it. Took the deflection, but it went in and it started the comeback, didn't it?
Yeah.
Without him there. So again, as I've said before, if you're going to criticize people, you have to praise him, and he's showing some fighting spirit. You've got to remember he brought in a fitness coach 2 weeks earlier and worked hard. His injury record that used to be injury non-stop, he's been available pretty much every single game this season. Whether he's played is a different matter, but he has been available for selection every single game. And I think if we can keep building his confidence up and he keeps working with Perisic, we may see what people saw at Fulham. Not saying we will, but I think there's a more likelihood that we will. And we've got destiny to come as well, haven't we?
True. Yeah, Udoji is due back next season, absolutely. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for the call, Brian, but we still need another Benton quarter, don't we? So prep yourself. Any final thoughts before you do that?
Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to be back in that studio with everyone, and I'll be sitting where Rez is sitting for the Leeds game, so I can't wait. And yeah, just Spurs, please, for the love of God, get the job done Tuesday. Please turn up for 90 minutes and don't play your brothers for the first half. And Rodrigo Bentancur. And I will leave it at that today. I'm not going to do my you-know-what today.
Wow.
It's not about
Big up.
It's a special one.
Like I said, if I start speaking about him, then it gets into my head. Then my wife might like that, so then she won't have to spend time with me. I'll come on the show later and have a major rant.
Yeah.
But guys, I will see you later. Love
Big up.
all.
Happy birthday to Ilana. Hope you have a good couple of
brother.
days.
See you
Thanks
later.
very
Big
much
up,
for coming on, Brian.
See you
Take
soon,
care.
mate.
Bye-bye.
Big up, Mr.
There
Daigle.
we go. So another Bentancur for Jacob. He's putting them into the bank, isn't he? The number of Bentancurs he's getting.
He is. So
If he's still watching,
if he's still watching, hopefully he's watching. And the next person, and we've not seen him for a while. He's been very sporadic.
Yeah.
Is he a spy that we don't know about?
I think he might have been overwhelmed by the fluffiness.
I know what he's been doing. He passed his driving test, so he's been out driving and cruising the streets.
Has he been cruising for
I think
talent?
so.
Is that what
I
he's
don't know.
been doing?
Maybe he's been cruising for the January transfer window. He's on the phone to Paratici.
Oh, so he's been scouting
Maybe, yeah.
just since he got his driving license.
Yeah,
okay,
maybe.
well that's
Who
cool.
knows?
I think we should ask him. I think we should bring him on and ask him.
It's Ariane.
It's Ariane. Big up, Ariane. What's up?
What's up, guys? It's been a minute, actually. I haven't gone to these in a good minute. So
Have you been cruising for talent?
for talent? No, I've just been cruising back and forth from school mostly.
okay.
Can you
Yeah,
not mix the two? You know, cruising back and forth from school while also for talent.
I think that would be quite a task, actually. Cause
Okay.
I don't live anywhere near a field, so I'd have to go.
Fair enough.
A lot of gas money, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that could be problematic. And it's obviously it's the same route every day, so obviously the talent's not going to change. So once you've looked at it once, I get that.
He's already dismissed it, basically, is what he's
Yeah,
saying.
I
I've had
think
enough.
so.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Move on.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. I think that works. Talk to us, Ariane. Two very different performances from the same Spurs squad? I know this is the theme, the running theme, but we need to ask everyone's opinion on this one. So, yeah, talk to us about a game of two bits.
Look, if you saw the late show call I had yesterday, I said this to a T. Actually, basically, it's always a game of two halves with us. But honestly, one thing I want to say is I actually don't think the first half performance was as bad as everyone is chalking it up to be. Because even during the half, like I'm not saying this after we won, even during that, I was getting cooked alive in all my group chats because I was defending, basically Conte actually for like with my life. A lot of people were putting the blame on Conte because honestly, I think the whole time we were controlling the game pretty well. We conceded two relatively good counterattacks to be fair to Bournemouth, but that's because we had absolute bozos at the back. Like that first goal was infuriating. What was Sanchez doing? What did he slide into? What was he actually sliding into? I don't understand what that slide was. And where is
Well,
Emerson?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There were a lot of them sliding. It's like the whole Studgate issue that we had last season, where they had the wrong studs in, or the pitch was overwatered, or I don't know, or they just weren't good enough to stay on their feet. I don't know.
Or maybe, I mean, that's the thing though. I mean, Sanchez for that first goal. I mean, was that a slip? Did he fall over, or did he mean to actually slide and completely miss? That's the thing.
What did he slide into? That's like I don't understand what he was even trying to do. Was he trying to intercept the ball? Because he was way ahead of it. So why is he sliding away from it? I don't understand. But
it's a good question. It is a good question. Absolutely, yeah. Again, the other one is actually we forgot to ask. We forgot to ask Brian and who came on before Brian. Dan. We forgot to ask if Bentancur was their new man crush.
Okay.
So we'll ask Ariane now. Ariane, is Bentancur your current man crush?
he has to be, right?
It has to be perfect.
I don't think there's anyone who when he scores. There's no one in the team that I celebrate more when they score. There's just certain players. It was like kind of like when Sissoko would score for us when he was around, right? when Bentancur scores, it's different. It's so much different. Every time he scores, it's like euphoria. Like when Kane scores, you're used to it at this point, right? But when it's Bentancur or just someone new, even Session doesn't score that much, but Bentancur specifically, I love him so much. Especially when he scored the winner. I mean, I was going crazy. I was going absolutely wild, man. He's because he works so hard and you can see it on the pitch, and he always puts in these great performances. This season it's been an absolute overdrive. Everything he's done, when he came on, the game completely changed. I mean, just I think the way he's playing right now, he's got to be everyone's favorite player. I love seeing him play. It was he changed the game entirely, and he's so calm. But even though he's so calm, he didn't slow the tempo down. I think that was something that was so important. He would drive the ball forward. Everything he did was positive, and I love him right now.
Is it fair to say he's a transformative player? And if so, how in need of more transformative players like him are we as a squad?
I think the reason he has such an impact on the squad is because he's probably our most he's the most able player in both sides of the pitch. Like Højbjerg, for example, excellent player on both sides of the pitch, but you've got to say he is probably a little bit better when it comes to like defending a little bit. I think he is a little bit better on the back foot. Bentancur, very good presser, very good defender, but also just as capable as driving the ball forward. He's very capable in that final third as well. And the only problem he always had was he could not finish, and now he's gotten 3 goals this season already, right? So I think we kind of need some players who have just as good ability in both sides of the pitch. He's like a very upgraded version of like Harry Winks when he was good. Remember Harry Winks? He was always someone who you could rely on, in your defensive third and in the offensive third. And Bentancur is like an improved version of that for us right now. Skip, for example, I think could become a player like Bentancur. I think he is a little bit like Højbjerg right now, where I think I trust him more defensively. But today it was kind of getting in the final third a little bit more. In the first half, he wasn't really doing much. It was kind of giving these wayward crosses, but I think he kind of grew more into the game, but didn't really have his chance as he got subbed off eventually. I think if we could get someone like Skip, to become more like Højbjerg, we're gonna have a great time. Because like the thing with or to with Bentancur, because the thing with Bentancur right now, the most important thing is he needs a rest. Like he's playing every single game. And Højbjerg also, I think he's missed like 2 games, which became 3 like last week. Like that's crazy. Even when you start overworking Højbjerg, that's when you know this team needs rotation. And with Bentancur playing every single game, 90 minutes, thank God he was given some rest today because we're going to need him for Marseille. And hopefully in January we do get someone who could give him a little bit of a rest. And because Basuma just hasn't been that guy yet. I hope he can because honestly, on paper, Basuma could have been like that. At Brighton, he was someone who was very capable both going forward and defending, which is why he was so attractive as a player. So I do hope he does find that form at some point. But if he can't, then maybe we need to look in the market for someone who can kind of be a quicker fix.
And speaking of the market, how vital is good business in this upcoming transfer window?
It's going to be as vital as it was last season. Without Kulusevski and Bentancur, we don't get top 4 last season. We don't. As simple as that. And with the way these people are defending right now, we won't get. You know, who knows what we're gonna do if we're gonna have to have a whole season of Longley, Sanchez, Davies, and Dyer. That's just not something I'm looking forward to. I think we're definitely going to need at least one proper center back. A Bastoni, a Skriniar, Indica, Pau Torres, whoever Conte deems appropriate. I think it's crucial that we get someone in who we can trust at the back. Because Longley started his time here well, and he's kind of dropped off. Dyer started the season pretty well, dropped off massively. Romero's kind of been, iffy this season just probably because he wants to wait for the World Cup. Sanchez, I mean, we saw him today. Like, there's not really a defender, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, and he did score today, but I think Davis has probably been the most consistent. Very, average performances, but at least he hasn't put in. I can't think of a game where Davis just shit his pants, right? Like Sanchez did today. He hasn't been fantastic, but he hasn't put in like a disaster class yet. So,
there's been a little bit of hate for Ben Davis, hasn't there? And maybe that's a bit unwarranted.
I think it is a bit unwarranted because, I don't think he's been great by any means, but I also don't think he's been bad. He's been Ben Davis, right? He's been exactly what he's been for the past however many years now. Consistent. You can rely on him, and today he showed up. We needed him. He scored. I celebrated like wild, but he did his job today. Except for the first half. Honestly, I think he really should have done better in the first half. But second half, just like the whole team stepped it up, and he consistently Ben Davis, right? I think he's. But when you're in a season where Ben Davis is your most reliable defender, that's a problem. That's
that makes
a problem,
sense,
right? We need to upgrade a little bit, and hopefully by the time January, when Romero stops half-assing every game, and hopefully we get a new defender who can compete every single game at a high level, hopefully we can start going on the form we were last season. Because honestly, last season we looked unplayable, but this season it's been a little bit iffy, and I'm sure injuries have to do something with that. But I think January we need to kind of whip these people back up into shape because that's what January did for us last season, and we need that again.
Fantastic. So Ariane, before we get your Rodrigo Bentancur in full let's call it Jacob style, any final thoughts?
I think just the final thoughts are people need to stick by Conte because I saw when we were 2-0 down, like the timeline and just Twitter was the most toxic place at halftime and like right after we conceded that second goal, man. People, I genuinely saw about the entire fan base for about 10 minutes was genuinely considering to be Conte out, which is just ridiculous. Look, these games will happen, and on another day we might have even lost this game. But last season we lost 4 and 5, including a 1-0 loss to Burnley. This happens to any team, especially the team that is rebuilding. With this defense, we need to build over time. We still need a couple more windows to actually get the team Conte wants. If anyone thinks this is the team Conte imagined to be the title winners, you're deluded. Conte does not think he's going to be the serial winner with Eric Dyer and with Ben Davis. He doesn't.
That's right.
Like he doesn't think that, right? He thinks he's going to be with Romero and hopefully 2-3 other center backs who he can actually trust every single game at the highest level, right? So we have to wait for him to get what he wants before we can judge him. Right, you're not going to judge someone off of tools they don't have. So we need to be patient, and we need to back the manager because the point is like everyone's saying, oh, we don't back the manager. Honestly, if I was the owner of a club, I would want to back the manager at this point. What's the point of backing a manager when you know the fans are going to hound him out for every other season, right? Like, why would I spend so much money on a specific manager's archetype of players if I know he's not going to be here in 2 years? We as fans need to get behind the manager so the board can actually be like, okay, we have to back this guy because he's going to be here a while, so let's give him the fucking team he needs, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So just stick with him. Stick with him. Good things are going to come. This guy's never failed. Why would he fail at Spurs if we don't fail him first? You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's
So,
all I got to say.
wind yourself in for it. You know, get yourself ready. We want your best, Rodrigo Bentancur.
This is going to be the only sample I've had of this, actually, Brian's, like, right before I called, so I'm just going to go a little bit off of his. All right. Rodrigo Bentancur.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
I like that. There you go.
I did my best.
Big up,
Absolutely.
Ariane. That was good.
It was, yeah. Big up to you, Ariane. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Good to see you, mate.
Take care.
And as
Speak
always,
soon.
come on, you.
Yes.
Whoa.
Very much so.
That was very loud.
much so.
Very loud. Listen, before we go on, big up to Ian Barron. It's his wife's birthday.
Ooh.
Lisa Barron, and their 11th wedding anniversary today. So
Wow.
big up to them.
Big up to Ian, Lisa, and the anniversary. Fantastic
Yeah,
stuff. I love it.
now what are you doing? You're
I don't know.
tangling.
I've become embroiled in the wiring, I think.
Okay, so this is a new caller for me. I've
And
not
for me,
spoken to this
I've not
gentleman
spoken.
before.
No, me neither. Me neither. And it's not the I'm not going to say his name yet. That we know with the Woo.
Yeah.
It's a different one because I know what the other one looks like. And
I know.
It doesn't look like this. So
It doesn't look like this.
he doesn't look like anything at the moment because he's off camera.
I know. Is
So
he ready?
I don't know if he's ready yet. Maybe he's hiding. Maybe he doesn't want to do the Rodrigo Bentancur.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, it's me.
Hello?
Is there anyone else?
Is it us you're looking for? Hey! What's up, Phil? Welcome to We Are Tottenham TV.
What's up? Thank you. Yeah, it's Philly Alley. I don't know what happened to my name.
Philly Alley? Sammy, are you
That's
messing
right.
up people's names, mate? Come on.
Oh, man.
We'll fix it. We're going to fix
There
that
you
now.
go.
There we go.
There we go.
See, I told you, you give
Appreciate
Sammy
that.
praise at the start, and he's made mistake after mistake after mistake.
I think what we need to do, right, is that when we come in, we tie Sammy up, right, with various chains and so forth, right?
I mean,
And the
that's a bit
better
weird.
he does, the more chains we remove.
That's a bit weird, Rez, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
Hey, that's how
Sammy's
Conte
cheery.
does it.
But Sammy's happy with it.
Sammy's happy with it.
Yeah. Sorry, we're getting off the subject.
Right, Philly Alley, we've got your right name.
Yes.
So big up to you. Welcome. It's the first time we've spoken to you. So
Yes, indeed.
give us your thoughts on the Jekyll and Hyde performance.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely want to start off with a real strong. He is the reason
Yeah.
that we're
Yeah,
playing Champions League this season.
Love it.
Rodrigo Bentancur. I was warming up my tongue for minutes. That's what I was doing off screen.
That's why you got off. That's doing the tongue exercises. Anyone we know?
What? Yeah, no. Mrs. Alley. Don't worry about
Mrs.
it.
Alley. Mrs. Alley. Well, anyway, let's move on.
Move on. Yeah. So yeah, Rodrigo Bentancur and the game of two and the game of Jekyll and Hyde.
I mean, I think it's going to be the season of Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, how many games do we need? It was, I don't know, but I want to stay on Bentancur a little bit. I loved the guy as soon as he started with Spurs. I thought he had that like world-class mentality, that composure on the ball. You can tell he's used to being kind of in the middle of a team and having to like be relied upon game in, game out. But I was surprised at how few people actually knew about Bentancur. Maybe it's just because every FIFA team I ever have created, I trade for Rodrigo Bentancur.
Amazing.
Because he's a Uruguayan, like big, strong central midfielder that can do just a little bit about everything. But I mean, what do you guys think of him?
Well, I think we were quite clear in saying that he changed the game we felt, in that, without him, I don't think I find it difficult to see us getting the result that we did without him. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And isn't it refreshing that in the time of the season where a lot of people look leggy, a lot of people look like their tanks are getting close to empty, someone in the middle of the pitch is hitting their stride. He's having a game after game. I think he's looking better every game, and I was excited to see him come on the pitch. He's somebody who doesn't normally score goals, but of course it was going to be him today.
Yeah. And in terms of transformative players, player that can sort of take the game by the scruff of the neck, I think we need more of that sort of thing. Because right now, can you think of another player who has that, not ability necessarily, or has that quality where he'll come on and say, right, I'm gonna stamp my authority on this game. I mean, he hasn't done it a huge amount, but he's done it enough to show that he's got that ability, and we need more of that, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I think I'm not disappointed with the last window, but my disappointment comes that the players that we got, the positions we tried to fill, they were long overdue. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy to have Yves Bissouma in our side, but he is the replacement for Moussa Dembele that we needed 3 seasons ago. You know, so that's why, even though we got 5, 6 new faces on the squad this year, it's still only like a 6 at most of a transfer window. We need some stars. That was just stopping the bleeding, these transfers this past summer. And when you see Conte, when you see Ventroni and his team of coaches. When you see the season that Son had last year, and how Højbjerg and Bentancur are leaving it all on the field, it's just like, Mr. Levy, push the boat out. Come on, show some belief. Do something unexpected. Give us the spark. The fans are doing tifos that are just beautiful. The Conte is about ready. I feel like he's about to have a heart attack. He's like, I think his doctor has told him to take it easy. That's why he's not running up and down the sideline every game anymore. But it's like, come on, owner of the club, push the boat out. Show some belief. Give us the spark. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. Do something unexpected. And who knows what can happen this year. I mean, all I know is Haaland is only going to get better. You know what I mean? Yep. I just can't wait for Arsenal to run off in a ditch, but we can't count on that. We got to do it ourselves.
Well, maybe that process started on Thursday where they lost to PSV. That was joyous to see.
And they drew with Southampton.
I'm not gonna talk about them in this, but yes, I see where you're coming from. How vital is this coming transfer window? Are they all going to be vital for the next 2 or 3? Or is this a particular one where it can turn our season? Because we've got 4 games left before the break for the World Cup. And then I think there's only 1 game before the window actually opens. So how important is this coming transfer window, which is now only, a month away? 2 months away, sorry.
Yeah, I think today's game showed it. If we have to rely on Davinson Sanchez and Emerson and Sessegnon and some of these kind of mid-level players, because look at the players that are kind of redlining. Son, Kane, Bentancur, Højbjerg have played. Dyer even. No one talks about Dyer, but the man has played thousands of minutes. He's probably pushing 2,000 minutes, and it's just not humanly possible. All of those players are going to go off to the World Cup. And do you think they're gonna their coaches are gonna give them a rest day in the
Well,
World
that's just
Cup.
it,
Are you
isn't it?
kidding
I
me?
mean, yeah. I mean, when a lot of these players come back from the World Cup, they will have been They would have played probably a more intense schedule, or at least a comparably intense schedule to what we're playing right now. And then when they come back, with the fact that we've had to compress these other games into things, the schedule is just going to be nightmarish. How concerned are you with regard to having this World Cup in sort of the middle of winter, with actual damage being caused to some of these players, in terms of permanent, potentially even life-changing injuries?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, God forbid, knock on wood, of course. But at the beginning of the season, I felt like, the stars might just align for us this year. And I felt maybe that mix up in the middle of the season could actually work to our favor when you have, when we're going up against behemoths like Man City and Chelsea and all them, who have plenty of national players in their squad. Maybe it could shake out in our favor. But I mean, reality is hit. We've got injuries, just Kulu, losing Kulu alone. But I don't think he's going to go off to the World Cup. But that just kind of shows like our squad is not that deep if we want to perform at the highest level.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm afraid for players like Højbjerg. I think Denmark has an unbelievable chance this year. Uruguay is going to be relying on Bentancur and Valverde. They're going to have they're going to go into that World Cup thinking they can win it. Hyunmin Son is kind of a one-man team for Korea, so it's going to be much pressure on those guys. So I think you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a little scary for as a Spurs fan to think about how much at a risk our biggest players are going to be in.
Yeah, and Philly, we've had a message in from Mr. Brian Daigle just to say to you, thank you for last January and everything that you did while Brian was there, and he says big up and just asked me to say thank you to you. I know he's put it in the comments, but it might have got lost. So yeah, he wants to say big up to you for everything you did last January. So thank you.
Absolutely. Big up Daigle, man. My North American counterpart up there. I'm equally Levy out, and it's not necessarily because I hate the guy or think Enoch has done a bad job, but like we have to do something as a supporters group to put pressure on the one man that can turn the tide for us. Conte and the players are doing all that they can. Like we need new blood in. So it's got to be Enoch out until he shows that his priority isn't a brand new theater or North London gentrification, or whatever the heck else he's doing. Like invest on the field for once. What more do we need? Do we really need Google to give us $1 billion for you just to buy like 2 or 3 more? Like another $100 million. They put out that statement at the beginning of the season saying that they were going to invest $150 million. New investment, $150 million into investments in and off the field. So granted, we brought on some new coaching staff. I'm sure he did something to his beloved training center that took a couple $1 million off that. But are we to believe that our transfer budget before that $100 million was zero? Because we only spent close to $150 million. So you're saying before that, we were going to spend no money this summer.
Yeah.
It's only the $150 million that we're going to spend. You didn't have $50 million in there. You didn't have $75 million in there for us to play with when we have the best manager we've had since Bill Nix, for goodness sake. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. That being said, that's just my tribute to Brian Daigle right there. Big up Brian Daigle. He's putting in the hard yards, man. It's not easy being a renegade. It's not easy being in the vanguard and being a part of the counterculture. My man is swimming upstream every single day. And listen, man, next time he has any type of demonstration at Hotspur Way for a good cause, for glory, I'm going to send him some goddamn cheeseburgers. It's the least I can do over here. Come on, man.
They'll be cold by the time you get there, though.
No.
Oh, come on, man. I got connections. I'm an alley dude.
Okay. That's fair enough.
I'm deep, man. I got my people over there. Don't worry about it.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So, before we get your concluding, Rodrigo Bentancur, is there any final thoughts?
Yeah. I wanted to say one thing because last game, I had like an out of body existential crisis where, I'm over here in Istanbul with my buddy Deli, my brother Deli, and sometimes the signal isn't clear, so I have to fight just to get the stream going, to be able to watch my matches, to be able to keep up with the greatest football team in the world. And I got the stream up just in time to see an amazing finish to a European night at Hotspur Stadium. And in the midst of me going ballistic, losing my head, steam coming out of my ears, going red, my face going red from screaming, and just bliss and nirvana. Like I was this close to nirvana, I had almost reached enlightenment. In the back of my mind, I was like, they could easily take this back for anything. Like this is the 21st century. Like, does it really matter that I'm like reaching nirvana, that I'm going to be the next Buddha? Like, does this really matter? Because like VAR and some numbskulls off in some video room are going to find some toenail or some like, who knows what as a reason to take it off. But like today shows, yes, it matters. Because we are a team that will go until the 95th minute. We will do fucking anything. And just because Kane's left or his right kneecap was one body hair offside, fuck that shit, man. Like it matters. And I don't, something about being a Spurs is I want to see these comeback victories. 2 goals down today and we come back and win against Bournemouth. How about next game? European, everything on the line. Let's start Davidson Sanchez, Tanganga, and Dyer. I'll come in. I'll play on the wing, and Emerson. Okay, that'll be our 5 in the back. Let's go 3 goals down, so that at halftime we can put in the real players, and we'll come back and tie it and go on to European glory. You know what I'm saying?
God.
This is what the Spurs are doing to me. I'm like fiending. Like, why can't we just go a goal up? Why can't we dominate teams that we need to beat? You know what I mean? So I just had like a real existential crisis yesterday, and I wanted to put that out into the Spurs ether to see if I can get any reinforcement, because I think I'm going cuckoo over here.
We went cuckoo years ago.
Yeah,
watching Spurs. It's just it's a natural concomitant. It's almost an occupational hazard, I think. So your final concluding, Rodrigo Bentancur, please.
Bentancur, he is the reason that we're playing on Tuesday this week. Let's go Spurs! Come on, you Spurs!
Big up,
Rodrigo Bentancur.
Big up! What a great call from Philly Ali. Big up, Philly Ali. Big up. And big up Brandon Troller again. Sign David Louis. Let Yaya Toure suit up issues. Bye-bye. I'm not really sure what that means.
I'm not sure what it means, but there's certainly enthusiasm there. And that's what we want from
There
Brandon,
is. And the reason we have been doing this, making his debut, I believe.
His debut.
Making his debut. Yeah. All the way from the US of A.
Well, slow it down.
Okay,
they need more build-up than
Sorry. You do it, Rez.
Okay. This is a man who knows how to wear his hair. In Texas, they go big, and there aren't any bigger than Jacob. Big up to you, Jacob. Welcome to We Are Tottenham TV.
Hopefully you're off mute.
You're on mute at the moment.
He's on mute. He's done the fatal error.
You've got to do it. I think as
what
anyone
a great
who
way to
comes
start my debut.
Here we go.
Thank you for that intro. Honestly, I've been super impressed with everyone doing the Bentancur. I've been pretty blown away. Dan impressed me. I was a little impressed with Dan. I think that Miami influence is getting to him, so that's real nice to see. But how are you boys doing?
We're good.
We're good.
Now.
It's drained. I
Drained.
think is fair to say, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, what's with this light setup that he's got as well? This is like
Yeah.
new. This is posh.
Well, I mean, listen, it's the first time he's on We Are Tottenham TV. It's got to be disco.
That's I've had that for like a week, so it is new.
Oh, okay.
But I think whenever I was on Shelfside Spurs show, whenever I was on the Shelfside Spurs show, whenever I was on with you guys, humbly inviting me on, whenever I was on there, I had the lights, so hopefully I got to peep them at that time.
Didn't notice until today, Jacob. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it. As I say, it's disco.
It is disco. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
we've got you on. We've got you on, Jacob. Obviously, pure, not just because we want to hear you. You are the original curator, the originator of the Rodrigo Bentancur. But we've done it. But yeah, how did you watch the game? What were your thoughts? Tell us.
Honestly, this is one of those matches where I'm surprised it wasn't at 5:30 a.m. for me. It was at 8 a.m. So I was thankful at least, because usually when we play Norwich level type teams, I think that they like to put them real early for the folks over here in the USA. But honestly, I was real unimpressed. I was really kind of baffled, but then also not surprised because the likes of Emerson Royale was out there. When I see that name in the starting lineup immediately, the worry begins to set in. And I've already reached a breaking point with that guy where you two know me, but those who don't know me, I try to stay relatively glass half full mentality. That's kind of just how I was raised. So for me, seeing him out there, it is just reassuring to the fact that I think Conte is trying to prove some kind of point that, look, I don't trust Spence. I'd rather put Sessegnon out there on the right, and he's one-footed, and he's barely competent with that 1 foot. So hey, I'm thankful for Sessegnon's left foot, because that first goal is a finish I don't think he does last season. I think this is a culmination of him working with Antonio Conte and Ivan Perisic. So there's no way to really discredit him today. And I try not to discredit players. I always try to find reasons to big up them. And, Emerson Royale did not do that for me today. I was a little reluctant to see Sanchez, no Dyer, but also Dyer's been very diabolical. So for me, the 11, I wasn't too excited about, because really the 3-5-2, it wasn't hitting for us in the past 2 Premier League games. So I'm just curious, maybe it doesn't work in the Premier League. I don't know. I'm not the person to say that. I'll never claim to be. I trust Antonio Conte's decisions blindly. He also liked a comment of mine on Instagram once, so that's kind of we're pretty much friends at this point. He texted me.
Of course.
He said, "I just drew a bubble bag. Let me know when you in," and we FaceTime. So it's a good time.
Well, I mean, it was the whole thing. It was the whole Bobby Richarlison romance from the summer, just in a different version. I mean, he dropped a tweet.
Yeah.
Richie answered, and now they're texting every day. I think they're going on holiday together.
Yep.
At some point. So yeah, I mean, you've been on holiday with Conte, haven't you?
I have. If y'all have seen the YouTube channel, the Twitter handle for the podcast that we got, the header's right there. He's kayaking. Michael's behind him in a kayak. I'm there with my 2-piece bikini on, just being a lifeguard in the water in case Conte needs me. That's what I'm here for. I'm his safety blanket. So I trust him, and I trust his decisions at the end of the day. Clearly, there's something he's either not seeing from Spence, or there's some point that he's proving. It remains to be seen. January can't come fast enough, but also I'm not looking forward. I am looking forward to the World Cup, but then I'm also not looking forward to the World Cup, if that makes sense, because I'm just worried that some of our guys that are crucial to our team are also crucial for their countries. So,
well, yeah, absolutely. You got Bentancur, you
really
got
hoping
Hojbjerg, Kane, Son, Romero. They're all vital for their national sides. Can you see a scenario in which our players can come through this unscathed?
I can, and I've got the solution for everyone over in the UK who's worried about it. USA gonna knock England out the group.
Yep.
Wales is gonna finish second in that group. You won't have to worry. Harry Kane's only gonna play just a handful of games, so don't worry. We'll take care of that part.
3 group games, and then home. Yeah.
That's the plan. That's what we've told the boys back here in the red, white, and blue.
Well, as I've said, I'm not watching this World Cup. I'm not going to be involving myself in watching it. So as far as I'm concerned, if they come home early, all the better. Fuck it, So we need to talk about everyone's latest man crush, apart from myself, obviously, because as I say, I've still got a thing for Jan Vertonghen. Rodrigo,
rightfully so.
Well, absolutely, Rodrigo Bentancur. How bloody brilliant was he today?
I thought he was immense. The fact that he didn't start was a little bit of confusion for me. I'm a big Basuma fan. Actually, this kit I'm wearing, it's got Basuma's name on it because I just wanted to support him in his first season wearing the goofy number 38. He'll have the right number as soon as maybe Winks can play for Sampdoria or something, but maybe one of these days. So I'm a big fan of him, but clearly this season, since we've signed Basuma, I feel like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Rodrigo Bentancur have been doing a really good job at showing, hey, this is why we deserve to start. We got Champions League last season for a reason, and like the previous caller was saying before me, if it wasn't for him and Kulusevski, we wouldn't be playing on Thursday nights. I would also say, I know Davinson Sanchez gets a lot of hate. I'm not saying he had a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but if it's not for Davinson Sanchez, we also don't play Champions League next season. Remember, Watford, stoppage time, header, 1-0 win. That's 3 points. We don't get those 3 points. So, as far as I'm concerned, players play a role, even if it's insignificant or in a manner in which we don't necessarily agree with. We can all agree that I think that sometimes players will step up and surprise you. And Bentancur, for me, watching him last season, I just was like, okay, here's a good person in the mid to hold up the ball and move it, quite frankly, because we weren't doing that before, especially with Tanguy and Ndombele. But my point is, he seemed hesitant to shoot it last season. If you'll remember, I think maybe it was the Norwich game or one of the last games of the season. I don't remember. He had a wide open net and instead chose to give it up to Kulusevski very unselfishly, I might add. But at the same time, it's just kind of like if you're an attacking mid at some level, you're drooling for a goal as well. So for me, just to see him go out there this season, he's been taking shots on from distance, even though some ain't hit, but he's now scored in 2 games in a row, one in Champions League, and this is now his second Premier League goal, or is it? Or am I mistaken?
Second.
Yeah,
his second.
I mean, this is a guy coming from the Serie A and Juventus, where he didn't get much time. So clearly, there's going to be a work up to fitness. Now, the only critique I really have of our boy Bentancur at this moment is the fact that when we play these big teams, I feel like he is a shadow of himself. I excused it last season when he first played Manchester United, when I first saw his first bad performance. I excused it because I was like, he's coming back from a hip injury at that point. I think the game prior, he hurt his hip, had to come out the game. So I excused that Man United performance. This year, Man United, it's just like, what is he doing?
I think everyone played badly on that one, though, didn't they, Jacob? It wasn't an individual thing. I think every single player, and it actually speaks to the problem that we're witnessing with Spurs at the moment, in that we haven't started a game well, really, that I can think of. We haven't started a game, taken it by the scruff of the neck, and basically said, right, this is our game now, and put it beyond doubt. Quickly enough. There've been times where we've sort of started okay and been the better team, but I can't think of a performance this season in which we've essentially won it right from the first whistle. Can you?
No, not at all. Not even against Southampton. And I think this is a game versus a yo-yo club. Quite frankly, all respect given to the Cherries, But like I said, I said in the show yesterday. Cherries are there for the picking. They're not something that's coming at you. They're just there for the picking. Yeah. You got to take advantage of that. I understand that we're away from home, but again, there's levels. And quite frankly, in the conversations that we talk about Tottenham Hotspur, it's not the same conversations that we talk about AFC Bournemouth. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's a little embarrassing because, on one level, it's like, okay, Sporting Lisbon, yes, that's a Portuguese team. You should say that they're not on our level. But they've proven they're somewhere near our level because we didn't beat them at their home, and then they drew us at our home. So you could even make the argument that they're a little bit above us at this juncture. So, but this is a team from your league that you're familiar with. These players all familiar with this team. So there's just, to me, it's no excuse to go out there and put out that kind of first half. To go down 2-0 to a striker who, quite frankly, all due respect to the Welshman, never heard his name before today. And he went out there.
He doesn't play. Kiefer Morris doesn't play regularly for Bournemouth. He's not a regular.
The only
starter
Kiefer I've ever heard of is Kiefer Sutherland. So I don't know who this man is, but he was out there putting on a clinic. Davison Sanchez, Emerson Royale,
although I
playing
do
Twister
believe,
with each other on the
his
floors.
dad's name is Donald. I think his dad's name is Donald Morris. I don't know if that's true. I'm just being facetious. So before we wrap up, Jacob, with your final definitive and original Rodrigo Bentancur, any final thoughts?
My final thoughts. We don't need Chicken Little mentality within the fan base. I think we need to be strong as a fan base. The sky is not falling. We are still third. We got 3 points. It wasn't pretty. I wasn't satisfied with our performance. But guess what? Whether you win 11-10 or 11-0, the points are 3 points. And at the end of the day, I'm just thankful for that. Thankful to come on here. Thankful to talk to you two as well. So big ups. Thank you for the opportunity.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And give us your parting line.
Big ups, my man of the match, Rodrigo Bentancur.
Brilliant.
Big ups.
Big ups to Jacob. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. I think that was a definitive one, don't you?
That was a
I think
definitive
that's the one that we should all strive for.
Yeah. Look, so just before we go to our final caller of the day, Conte has talked about his team lacking belief, and with Harry Kane and Son Heung-min relatively well contained, Spurs were unable to create a lot from open play. Conte said, it was a vital win. I think we showed good character. My feeling when 2-0 down was we still had the possibility to win this game. When we suffered in the first half, I told my players it's on us. I asked for more personality, more responsibility and more decisions. My players showed great character and great desire and didn't accept defeat. In the end, we deserved to win because we created chances.
There you go. There you go. So, yeah, I think it is a mentality issue. I think this is what is, at the moment, presenting a challenge. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the final caller of the day, Rez.
A man for whom hats are a necessity. Fur, lined, for preference, with ear flaps to insulate the hearing organs. It is the man who goes by the name of Brandon, because that's his name. Big up, Brandon. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good.
Good, man. How are you?
I'm well. I mean, it's always a heart attack on a sandwich, you know. Watching a Tottenham game these days. I mean, it's either our hearts are going to be sunk into our chest and pop goes the weasel, or it'll be a heartless, gutless performance like a Man U. Or
I think we had both today, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
There we go. Hey, it's Spurs wrapped into a nice little burrito. You know, and we got Rodrigo Bentancur, the curator. Burrito. And fantastic. Oh, mwah, 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 mwah. It's phenomenal. But let me tell you, I have a question actually. With regard to the World Cup, your reservation, Rez, specifically, in your own words, how would you, for those who are unaware of some of the atrocities going on there, would you like to explain for that?
Just in a nutshell, there's been a lot of deaths in the construction of these stadia. There is a system within that particular kingdom whereby migrant workers are essentially living in a state of enslavement. They have a very questionable record on human rights. And for that reason, I am not interested in watching this World Cup, because I don't feel that they should ever have been awarded it. So for that reason, I'm not going to be partaking in watching this particular World Cup.
It's quite astounding, the amount of corruption that was initially afoot before any of the severe further human rights violations were committed by that specific country. It's unfortunate, really. But
And so for that I'm boycotting it. For what it's worth, for what little it's worth, it's not really going to change anything. But I think it's beholden on me to do that. So for that reason,
I think I wonder if it would be at all well received if, for say, a Tottenham Hotspur, any Premier League club or any club really, to start denouncing the World Cup as it happens. For people to actually start to speak. At least in the process of not just interrupting our entire season, but interrupting really the world, and then it's I don't know. What do you think about that?
Look, it is it is fairly obvious that beyond, even putting aside the issue of Qatar specifically, that FIFA as an organization is not interested in anything except the furtherance of its own interests. And this particular World Cup, also the World Cup in Russia, the World Cup, I hate to say it, in South Africa, was all done for reasons that are beyond what is best for football and what is best for the fans. You look at it when Sepp Blatter turns around and says, when he made that comment about, it's good to watch women's football because they wear short shorts. That really epitomizes the actual type of organization that FIFA is. I know he's not their president anymore, but Gianni Infantino is not really much better.
No.
And so for me, until such time as, all of the authorities within football actually change the manner in which they operate and actually look at the most important aspect of football, which is the fans, which is us. Without us, football would be nothing. What would be the point of it? You'd have 22 men chasing an inflated bladder around a field in front of nobody. We are what makes football. Until such time as we are prioritized, as far as I'm concerned, they are not fit for purpose. They're denigrated and abrogated any right to authority that they have. Unfortunately, they're in a position of power, and we can't take it away from them.
I asked because our star man has been under some controversy with regard to the upcoming World Cup. For those of you who don't know, Harry Kane was recently basically told straight up by the Qatari government that there was no room for political statements when he was announcing that he was going to basically be making a statement of anti-discrimination at the World Cup. And it's just that mentality, that exists in the game.
That extends to any country that is sort of that hosts a World Cup, because what FIFA do when they award it is essentially say, we are going to set up a fiefdom within your country. For instance, do you know that FIFA pays 0 taxes when they hold a World Cup within a nation's country? It is one of the key demands in any bid that a country makes. They have to agree that FIFA will not be taxed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, sorry, I dropped out there for a second, but
Right.
I'm sure what you said was very eloquent.
Anyway, shall we talk about the game?
We will.
Hey!
Okay.
We will.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I
I just wanted to. No, it's fine. It's fine. Brandon, your thoughts on the game? And you can explain your super chat as well, because me and Rez didn't understand that super chat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
one?
The one about
Which one was this?
Yaya Toure.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. Hold on. I'll see
Hey,
if I can find it.
I watched a Ben Foster clip the other day. Ben Foster made a video with Yaya Toure, and he still got the tekkens. Let me tell you, he can still put it top ins.
Oh, really?
Oh, so
Throw
get
in
him on.
midfield.
Oh, I see.
Could you imagine a midfield
understand.
partnership?
So
Could you
sign
imagine
David Luiz, and get Yaya Toure back as a player.
Okay.
Issues go bye-bye.
Cool. I get it. We get it now. Now it makes sense.
I got it. Yeah.
Could you imagine a prime Yaya Toure in the midfield with Rodrigo Bentancur? It would make Wembanyama and Moussa Dembele look like Harry Winks and Ndombele.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be sublime. It would be incredible. But it's I don't know. this upcoming January transfer window, I'm actually more excited for that than any of the particular matches we have coming up to watch right now.
Well, 4 matches left. How do you think we're going to do? 4 matches left. We've got Marseille on Wednesday, Liverpool on Sunday, Nottingham Forest and Leeds. What do you think? 4 games. What do you think we're going to get?
I think we win against Leeds.
Uh-huh.
We will definitely beat Forest at home. Liverpool, who knows? Who knows what Liverpool is going to show up that day? Who knows what Tottenham's going to show up that day? Liverpool are just as much of a shambles at the moment as we are, right? So, I mean, if anything, you know, they may be hit by the injury bug a little more seriously than us. But I don't know. It's the Tuesday match against Marseille, scary prospect. It's genuinely terrifying, you know.
Will we get our point? That's all we need. We need 1 point. Will we get it?
I want to see us start Hill. I'll say it.
Okay.
Oh wow.
I'll say it. I want us to roll some big die, and yeah, I'm going starting Hill. We're obviously not going to have Spence anywhere near the pitch. Probably going to have the beautiful Irish butterfly on the wing next to him. But you know, this 3-man midfield is just not working.
So what's the solution?
Working.
4 men in midfield?
You know what? Let's just have Rodrigo Bentancur run the midfield by himself.
Just by himself.
let's put Jed Spence up in the right wing. Let's have Perisic left wing. Harry Kane and Son play striker. Yeah, just have.
Well, we had most of the team playing right wing at one point. I thought that we would see Hugo Lloris playing on the right wing at one point.
Oh God, not with his distribution.
Yeah, not with his distribution. Yeah, I think you would have had a heart attack if you'd seen that.
I'd have walked out at that point. Yeah.
I wonder that would be quite the competition. Who can ping more crosses inaccurately, Emerson Royale or Hugo Lloris?
Wow,
that's a good question. Actually, yeah. Let's put it to the chat.
Do you know what? I actually put money on Emerson Royale. To be fair,
what, to be better in goal?
Yeah, no, to be better in goal and to put better crosses in.
Can you honestly see Emerson Royale blocking any shots?
Yeah, he'll do some no look saves. He'll surprise everyone. He'll pull like that. What was it? That scorpion kick.
That's right.
The goal he did at Wembley.
The Colombian one.
The Colombian one at Wembley. Yeah. Crazy.
Excellent. So yeah, would we like to see that? Would we like to see Emerson Royale in goal?
Oh boy. Oh baby. Please. That was your birthday present. Antonio Conte will be cheering him on from the sidelines.
Absolutely.
Mr. Levy, do you see what you've given me? Do you see what you've done to me?
So the question we've been asking everyone, Brandon, is Bentancur your latest man crush?
Yeah. Oh, he's a sexy, sexy boy.
Mm-hmm. He
is.
He's a
sexy,
I
sexy man.
think so. Yeah. So has he, in your estimation, become, the object of your what's the best word?
This is going to be a controversial opinion. A very controversial statement.
Okay.
He's the sexiest midfielder we've had since Moussa Dembele.
Okay.
Oh,
that's saying something. That's saying something.
I think give it a year or two, and Moussa Dembele and him could be on the cover of Playgirl together.
Nice. I can see that.
Oh boy. I mean the man is just beautiful.
I wouldn't buy it.
He's a gazelle. He's a gazelle that does not need. He has no need for speed, but he can if he needs. You know what I mean?
So, before we get your final crooned Rodrigo Bentancur, any final thoughts?
We should stop calling Emerson Royale. His name is Emerson Peasant.
Okay.
Emerson Peasant.
Harsh.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm fed up. I'm not hearing it. Don't want to see it anymore. Goodbye.
That's fair enough. So give us your Rodrigo Bentancur.
Rodrigo Bentancur.
Lovely.
Big up, Brandon.
Big up to you, Brandon.
Big up, Brandon. Great
Thank you very much for calling in, Bell.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.
So Ben Kaufman.
That was our last one.
It was our last one. We can take the headphones off.
Because they're very warm.
They're very warm and they're very moist.
Moist. Yes.
Big up Ben Kaufman, member for 15 months. Big up to the
15 months.
Big up to the shelf
does
side
he
Spurs
do it?
boys on the panel. Big up to everyone in the chat. Look, it's been emotional today,
I think
people.
it has.
It's been a long post-match fan show, but it's been a positive post-match fan show. So, Rez, for you, who had the best Rodrigo Bentancur?
Oh, I think. Oh, Lordy. They were all very good.
They were very
They were all very good. I think Ariane ran the person that I think won it very close.
Okay.
You know, but for me, I think it's got to be the originator, or actually, the originator. Jacob from United Spurs of America, I think, was the winner of the Rodrigo
Absolutely.
Bentancur competition, because he really did encapsulate the sexiness of Bentancur's play with his pronouncement of his name. I
Yeah,
think,
he did.
in my view.
Absolutely.
You know?
Look, there was no VAR controversy. There was the usual first half, second half Jekyll and Hyde performance, something that we need to address before Tuesday. Ben and Sim will be here for the watch along on Tuesday, unless they decide last minute to go to Marseille. And then maybe I'll be back again. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they would prefer to maybe check out the Roman old town in Marseille, because, as you know, it is the old Roman town of Marsala, which is not a curry. That's not what they named it after. It's just the Latin for what became Marseille. It's the old Roman port town. I've been there.
Okay.
It's nice if you like that sort of thing, you know. So maybe they could do that.
They could, but look, it's Halloween on Monday. There was some tricks, but in the end, it ended in a treat for Tottenham.
Right.
Bournemouth 2, Tottenham 3. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up for everyone that's been with us since this afternoon. You can find us on Shelfside Spurs Show.
Come and watch. Come
it
and
has
join.
been pinned to the top just at the last minute by Sammy.
Yeah.
So I will take back everything bad I've said about him.
You've been so nasty to him today, Nick. Okay, you've been evil. How dare you?
I know. So big up to Mazza Lene. I hope I've pronunciated that name right.
Pronounced.
But look, we've got one game left in the Champions League group stages on Tuesday. We have Liverpool next Sunday at 4:30 at the Lane. The Carabao Cup Wednesday, Forest, where me and Rez will be back
Also
for the
at the
watch
Lane,
along.
yes.
No, it's away at Forest.
Is it away at
Yeah,
Forest?
it's away at
That
Forest,
sucks.
yeah. And then we have the final home game against Leeds on the 12th of November before the World Cup break. Guys and girls, it's not going to be easy. It never is with Tottenham Hotspur. But thank you for joining us on another roller coaster. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.